Moving on to our next story. Now, a day after a Chinese Galwan soldier was made the Olympic torchbearer, India has announced a diplomatic boycott of the Winter Olympic Games in Beijing. This means that India will not send officials to the Games. However, the country will still send its athletes to compete. Now, in response to WION's question on China politicizing the Olympics, this is what the Ministry of External Affairs had to say. Listen in.
It is indeed regrettable that the Chinese side has chosen to politicize an event like the Olympics. I wish to inform that our chargé d'affaires of the Embassy of India in Beijing will not be attending the opening or the closing ceremony of the Beijing 22 Winter Olympics.
India's national broadcaster will also not telecast the opening and closing ceremonies of the Winter Olympics. Yesterday, Key Fabio was China's torchbearer for the Olympic torch relay. But the question is, who exactly is this man? Now, he is a People's Liberation Army or PLA regiment commander, one who apparently sustained a head injury during the clashes in Galwan. China's prime propaganda machine, the Global Times, even called him the Galwan Valley border clash hero. Now, this is the same China who denied their casualties for days. But now, they want to honor a Galwan commander, trying to use a ceremony highlighting the Olympic spirit to provoke India. Now, this comes as the two nations are trying to resolve the crisis diplomatically. So far, around 14 rounds of talks have been held between New Delhi and Beijing. However, both sides have failed to make any headway in the talks. Soldiers of India and China clashed in 2020, resulting in the loss of several lives on both sides. The clashes erupted after the unprovoked aggression by Chinese troops in Galwan Valley in Ladakh. Now, it's been nearly 2 years since the incident. Currently, there has been disengagement at many flashpoints, but tensions continue to simmer between the two countries. India is meanwhile not the only country to announce a diplomatic boycott of the Beijing Olympics. It joins several other nations like United States, UK, Canada and Australia. The Japanese government has also said that it will not send a delegation to the Games by the end of January. Several other European countries also joined the diplomatic boycott, including Estonia, Latvia, Sweden, the Netherlands and Denmark. Our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibil, gets you more on this. Listen in.
The D-Day has arrived. The Winter Olympics in China, in Beijing, are all due to start. The opening ceremony will take place today, but the games are the most controversial games to happen since early 80s. A whole host of countries are diplomatically boycotting the game over the human rights violations in the restricted province of Xinjiang. But we also know that India has announced its decision that the top diplomats, in fact, the CDA, will not going to participate in the opening and the closing of the ceremony. India, of course, right now has its CDA, not a full-time envoy, given that the envoy whose name has been presented, Pradeep Rawat, he is still yet to give his credentials. So the decision comes in the backdrop of provocation by the Chinese. The Chinese, of course, making a Galwan soldier, a soldier who was responsible for aggression in Galwan in eastern Ladakh in 2020 as a torchbearer. Now, we know that in November of last year, India had signed a joint statement saying that it is not going to boycott, it is going to take part in this ceremony. But that was premised on the fact that the Chinese will not politicize it. And now, of course, the Chinese have done so. And this is coming in the backdrop of increased aggression and provocation by the Chinese.